Alrighty, it is review time on the 2020 Backcountry Xrs. I have 850 miles on it, and I'm going to give my first impressions and what I think of the sled. So to start this review off, we're going to start on the front end of the snowmobile. We're going to do suspension and how it handles. All right, so suspension. This is an XRS, so you do get the KYBs. These are the 36s up front. You have a clicker on the top, clicker on the bottom. Both tell you which direction is hard and soft. You get 25 clicks on the top and 19 clicks on the bottom, I believe, on this sled. Since you do have the KYBs, you do get better handling, and you also get, obviously, better suspension. So taking the big hits on the trails, the big bumps, this thing will handle amazing. All you gotta do is just get off the sled when the trail conditions are changing and adjust the clickers as you see fit. Play with them, get used to them. If you have never had a XRS before, start at nothing and work your way up to what works good for you. And when you're in the powder, these do work really, really nicely. You can take the big hits, the big jumps, and set it up to however you want to ride in the powder, which is really nice. You get a lot less feedback through the handlebars, having better suspension on your snowmobile. All right, so handling of the snowmobile. Being that this is a backcountry, you do have two settings as far as ski stance on the snowmobile. You have a narrow and a wide. This sled is on the narrow stance. That's the way it came from the dealership. That's the way I wanted it. That's the way I left it. So I do have 850 miles on the narrow ski stance, and this is where all of my, what I think of the sled will be coming from as far as handling. To change it though, if you want to go to the wider setting, if you're pretty much just going to do all trail riding, you can move it over to that. But to do it, just pull the bolt out, put that bushing on this side of the spindle, put the bolt back in, tighten her up, and you're done. Same for the other side of the snowmobile. So handling of this sled is superb, very good. I have absolutely no complaints. This thing drives like a dream. For a 50/50 sled, this thing is amazing on the trail. If you're going straight, this sled is not very nervous feeling on the front end at all. It does not get stuck in other guys' ruts from earlier in the day, or if you are in a big group of guys and you're going down the trail. For all you trail guys that are on the trail sleds, you guys know what it's like to get caught in other people's ruts. And you're just walking in their ruts. You're just getting pretty much wherever they go, you go. With this sled, that does not happen because it is narrow on the front end. So you're not staying in their ruts. One ski might be in their ruts, but that's it. You're just gonna go right through all of their ruts and you're not gonna get stuck in them, which is really nice. It makes trail riding more enjoyable and easier. With cornering on this snowmobile, surprisingly good. Very good, actually. If you want this thing to be tipsy in a corner, it can be fun and tipsy in a corner. If you want this thing nailed to the ground, it's nailed to the ground. No ifs, ands, or buts. I had a very little ski lift. On certain times, the inside ski would lift. I would just get caught in a rut that was in the trail or get in a real icy spot that the carbide would grab, and you're just going to get ski lifts just the way it is. But being that this is on a narrow ski setting, it handles in the corners really, really, really well. I enjoyed it in the corners. In fact, I could keep up with my brother's Renegade. Absolutely no problem. We could go into the corners just as hard, and I'd have no ski lift. He'd have no ski lift. And if he had a little bit of ski lift, sometimes I didn't have any ski lift. Obviously, sitting further forward on a Gen 4 does help with ski lift. But overall, handling of the snowmobile is superb. When you get into the big bumps, when it's getting really washed out, all you got to do is adjust your suspension, and this thing still rides really good on the big bumps. The smaller bumps, obviously just dial it down. You get the suspension set where you want it, and you can leave it if that's what you want to do. Or you can adjust it as you're riding on the trail. Just get off the sled quick and adjust it. But being that this thing is narrowed on the front end, I did not have any problems with it. I enjoyed it more than a trail sled front end. I think it's a lot more fun, it's more nimble, and you can throw it around easier on a trail. Now on to the rear skid of the snowmobile. This is C-motion. This is not R-motion. It is not T-motion. It's a combination of both. So, being that it is an XRS, obviously, you get the KYBs. There's the clicker for the front one. I believe there's 25 clicks on these. And here is the rear one with the clicker right there. Both in easy to reach spots when you're out on the trail, even when there's snow in the skid, which is really nice. But I like it. This is a 146-inch skid on this sled. Bridges the bumps really well. Rides really good. You don't get the walking that you do on the shorter track sleds, which is always a good thing. You don't feel like you're just getting kind of walked all over the place. But it does not push into the corners. If the trails get bad, you do get some push out of it, but not a bunch. I think it actually corners better with it being a longer track. I think that does help a little bit with the ski lift in this sled. I think it does keep it planted more to the ground more so. But when the trails are getting really bumpy, this thing absorbs them. Is it as good as R-motion? No. But being that it is longer, I think it makes up for it. So when we were up here in UP riding, this thing did awesome. On the smooth trail, this thing rides really, really good. On small bumps, it bridges them good. Medium bumps, bridges them good. And you can set the suspension up pretty light and you're good to go. If you were up in UP, it would have been the day after Christmas or the day after that. I can't exactly remember. My brother and I, we rode from Munising to Grand Marais. Trails were bad. I mean, really bad. We haven't seen them that bad in a long time. Obviously, there was some weather that was factored into that. It got pretty warm up there. But trails were really choppy. Most bumps were at least a foot deep. But had to set the suspension up differently, obviously, for that day of riding, front and rear. The front, I never really went above 7 or 8, I think, on the top. The bottom, I don't really remember. It was pretty low. But the rear, when we were riding on that really bumpy day after Christmas there, I don't believe I went past half. Actually, I don't even think I was close. I might have been like 2 or 3 clicks below half. They weren't both even, I do know that, but it would bottom out on the biggest hits. There were some big ones that were well over a foot deep, if not 2 feet deep. So you really want to be able to use, obviously, your full range of motion on your suspension. I mean, you spent all this money on an XRS, you got to use it. So that's how I set it up. It worked really well. You got to stay up on top of those big bumps, and it's still rough. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to make it sound like it just, oh man, rode like a dream boat. It rode good. It's still rough. It's still going to beat you up. I don't care what kind of sled you're on or what kind of suspension you got. You're still going to get bounced around. But it is tremendously better having better suspension with a lot of adjustability. So with that being said, I really like the rear skid. Bridges bumps well. Helps with cornering, I'm going to say, just out of my own experience with it. And in the powder, C-motion, works great. This thing is easy to put on its side. It's even easier to wheelie. This thing is a wheelie monster. It will keep the skis to the sky, which I enjoy. That's a lot of fun. Traction in powder, obviously when we were up there, like I said, it was around Christmas time. We were there actually before and after. There was about maybe 3 foot at the deepest. It might have been a little deeper than that. I wouldn't go a whole lot deeper. But that rear skid works really, really good in the snow. It will outperform any Renegade with R-motion. It'll just destroy them. I liked it. Side hilling was easy. It likes to stay there. It will stay on its side. Going up a hill, this thing was a monster. Even just playing around in the snow, not doing anything crazy, that rear skid will get you where you want to go. On to the track. This is a 1.6 Ice Cobra on this sled. Trail manners, as far as this goes, it is aggressive on the trail. It likes to put the power down right here, right now. When you crack the throttle, you're gonna get somewhere and you're gonna get there pretty quick. Top speed with this sled so far is all the faster I can get it, 99 miles an hour. Not saying you should do that, but obviously we all do like to have some fun on a good, open, big, straight trail. But this does have the studs in it. As you can see, they are in good shape. With 850 miles, they should be in good shape. The track itself is in good shape. No lugs missing, no tears. The side of it is in good shape as well. The little bit of strings that I did have, I just took a lighter to them, burned them off. It just cleans it up, makes it look nicer. Deep snow, like I said, up in UP, there was 3 foot at most up there. So not a lot, but it was a shovel. This thing will move snow. It doesn't have any problem getting around in snow whatsoever. It'll stand up in a hurry. It'll keep the skis up. It's just an all-around good track for what I'm doing. Since I do more trail riding than I do backcountry riding, this was the track I wanted on my backcountry because I do enjoy going off and playing in the powder. It's not something I do all the time, but when I do want to do it, I've got the ability to do it. Hopefully we'll get it in some deeper snow and we'll see what this 1.6 as well with the C-Motion skid, what it's capable of doing in the snow. So as far as accessories I have for the sled, I don't have them out here with me in the shop, but I do have a fuel caddy that goes on the back with a hard case bag that goes on top of the fuel caddy. It's a 4-gallon fuel caddy. You can't make gas when you're out there on the trail, so that's just the way it is. So, but stock storage, this is all you get. It's the way it's been for years on the Skidoos. This is all you get. It is kind of like a little heated compartment. You know, does kind of keep things warm. Not crazy warm, but it does keep things a little warm. But the switch gear, obviously, that's still all the same. You got the kill switch here. Your screen settings here. Thumb or handlebar warmers, thumb warmer, starter and reverse, headlights. On this backcountry, I opted out of the shot only because since I do more trail riding, I just didn't feel like roping the thing over all the time to get the sled started. Yeah, you add 20, 30 pounds or whatever it is, so be it. It's okay. But the dash, I do like. I do have a video up on it, but I'll fire up the sled here quick. Here's the new dash on the sled. As you can see, 850.4 miles on it. And obviously you can see my top speed there, 99. But I do like the new dash. It's easy to see, easy to read everything. Controls are pretty much all the same. You do get more information than the old dash at one time, which I do like. But so that's the dash. And that is the storage as well as the accessories that I do have for the sled. All right, belt life on the backcountry. Here, I adjusted it one time. It was a couple hundred miles into the sled being new. I have not touched it since we've gotten back home. It still is good on adjustment. It's getting down just a scotch, but nothing crazy. The belt itself is in good shape, which it should be with only 850 miles. That is the factory belt that came on the sled. And then I do have right there a spare belt. It's another BRP. You can't go out without a belt because if you do, and one of these times you're going to regret not having it. But now during the break-in period on the sled, it does drink quite a bit of oil, which it should. That's just the way it is. But this is out of break-in. This is 1 tank of fuel. From full to where it is, that's 1 tank. I think it's probably about, that's the half full line right there. I'm going to say it's about 3/4 of an inch above it. So, I mean, it does use quite a bit of oil, but it's nothing crazy. So you'll definitely want to be taking oil out with you if you're planning on going out for a couple days and not coming back to home base there. But, so as far as oil goes, that's not bad. Fuel, out of break-in, 12.5. That's what it was getting, which isn't bad for what you got. Obviously, you're buying an 850. not to save fuel, and you want to have horsepower. You're the guy who's going out there and wanting to have a lot of fun. So fuel mileage to the guys who are buying 850s it's just not a big deal. I know the 600s actually probably get sometimes worse fuel mileage than the 850s. So that's just depending on what kind of the snow conditions are, and the 600 definitely has to work harder sometimes to get through the snow. But 850, that's a great motor. That E-Tech is, I think, strong. That it's got a lot of torque. So definitely enjoy it. Definitely love this sled. It's been nothing but a joy having and riding. Can't wait to put more miles on it and to have it for quite a few years here, hopefully. So definitely a good sled. If you're looking to get one, I would get one, whether it be an XRS, an X, or just a backcountry. You can't go wrong. I love it. I enjoy it. It's a great sled to have. If you even want a 2020, look for a used one. Or if you want to snow check a 2021, you can't go wrong. It's a great sled to have, a good trail sled, as well as a fun powder sled. So that's my review, and hope you guys enjoyed it.